Hi everyone, I'm joined today by Benton County Judge Barry Moehring, and Judge Moehring, talk to us about what's going on as far as your world, how things have changed and I guess acclimated to this new normal that we're in right now.
Wow. Well, things have changed dramatically. It's not every day that I'd be doing a Zoom video with you from the back of my house. That's the first thing. But I think the most important changes are those where we've been able to really keep county operations going, even while we're all working a little, or in some cases, a lot differently. So there's been a lot of changes to the way that we've adapted to this new work environment.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of internal changes as far as how we work, like you just mentioned, and also closing to the public has changed a lot of our interactions and whatnot. What are some of the changes that you have worked with either other elected officials or the quorum court members on to, again, mold and change so that employees can still either work or can take care of their kids during this time where school's out for a very early summer break?
Yeah. So one of the things I'm most proud of through this situation that we're in is how Benton County elected officials and the quorum court have really come together and made these changes occur. And really that was around three primary goals. One is we had to operate in a way that was safe for the public. And secondly, we had to operate in a way that was very safe for our employees. And thirdly, we had to operate in a way where we could keep county operations ongoing. And so we've worked very closely as an elected official group, including our circuit court judges. And we've also worked very closely with the quorum court now to have certain policy changes put into effect and certain other measures put into effect that are allowing us to do this. It's actually been a lot of teamwork at that level.
Yeah, I think that has been very clear through every facet that our elected leaders are really collaborating and working together, and we're all being vulnerable at this time and being honest and saying, we don't know how to, a pandemic is a new thing. Nobody's really lived through this before, so we're learning as we go. So we appreciate your leadership and your service. So in non-work questions, what is the thing getting you through this? Is there a show that you guys are watching? Is there something that you guys are doing as a family? Because everybody's home right now.
Yeah. Right? So, it's actually been interesting as a family because on the one hand, at least four of my 5 family members were all under one roof, but we're all practicing those social separation guidelines. So we're playing things like online Monopoly and we're playing Fibbage on TV. And so we're doing those kinds of things. We're also wearing Netflix out a little bit at night. We did watch Tiger King. None of us will probably be the same for it, having watched that show, but we have been, definitely watching Netflix and doing games. In a way, it's brought us quite a little bit closer. But it's been an interesting time in the Moehring household, as I'm sure it's been in a lot of other households around the county.
Yeah, certainly. It's always been interesting to ask people that question. Some people will say, well, it's a certain show or it's a candy or, it's a new food they've tried out since they're home and able to.
Yeah, we're doing DQ blizzards at home. We're experimenting with that. Frankly, experiment's going very well, probably too well, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep thinking, I think that I'm gaining the COVID-19.
There's the freshman 15 and there's the COVID-19. We're well on our way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you and your leadership and each elected official's collaboration and service during this time. It's been a remarkable and interesting space that we're all in. So we appreciate it very much so.
You bet. And it's been an interesting time to be in leadership at Benton County. It's also been an interesting time to be a part of the broader set of leaders around our area, particularly in the healthcare arena, in the first responder arena. Those folks are really working hard behind the scenes. They're collaborating. Couldn't be more proud of how our healthcare situation is set up to handle this, and appreciate all the Benton County employees and your patience with how we're working through this. It's remarkable how people have pulled together and how we've kept things going on. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and before you go, I do want to ask you about that. There's a lot of folks that are under you, like myself, and other direct reports that are able to work from home, that we can work remotely when this happened. We were able to do that, but there's other departments that are not able to do that. They still have to physically go to a space. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, so one of the things we did early on is we wanted to take some of the anxiety out of people coming to work for Benton County. It was a primary goal. So in some ways, we did things like make the buildings safer. We closed the buildings to the public. We did health screenings coming in. We encouraged people to do that social distance and social separation. And then for those folks that, frankly, when the buildings closed and they weren't able to act or interact, or when schools closed, they had to stay home, we made sure to get that emergency policy passed so that folks could stay home with their kids if they needed to, or they could stay home and not worry about their job if indeed the buildings closed, or even people who had to quarantine. We've had people at the county who've had to quarantine now too, and we don't want them worried about whether or not they have a job. They're all valuable, employees in Benton County families. So we were glad to get that policy passed, and hopefully that gets us through this situation over the next few weeks or so now.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you and your family stay safe and healthy through this, and hopefully one day, not hopefully, I guess I'm just going to say very optimistically, we will be all reunited at some point in time, just slightly unknown as to what that looks like. So we appreciate it.
As we're doing this video, on this day today, I can't even remember, what are we on, the 9th or the 10th or whatever it is?
The 9th of April, yes.
The 9th of April. The projections are getting better. They're still horrible, but the projections across the country and in the state are getting better. We're hoping that by undertaking all of these measures of social distancing and avoiding unnecessary trips and staying at home, that we can get through this initial shock phase and get back to how we're going to get back to some semblance of normalcy. The more that we do these measures, the quicker we'll get back, and it'll come. It'll be here before you know it. And I just appreciate everybody's work in that regard.
Yeah. All right. Well, stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, and
Wash your hands.
and we'll see you soon. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Channing. You take care.